Hello everybody, and welcome to this short tutorial on the Paint Your Army YouTube channel. And today what we're going to be doing is assembling and painting the Fleet Troopers from the Star Wars Legion miniature tabletop game by Fantasy Flight Games. So you can see in this box it comes with 7 models. They weren't too bad. Actually, they're pretty nice little models. The mold lines is what I was talking about weren't too bad. There are some along the edge of the helmet. They need to be cleaned up because that's a big flat surface, and mold lines really show up a lot on flat surfaces. But as far as along the bodies and stuff, they were pretty good at guiding them into places that had already had stuff happening, creases in cloth or bends and stuff. So they're not as predominant as they could have been, which is kind of nice. So you can see I took the time to just scrape the mold lines off with the back of my hobby knife here, and they are pretty soft plastic, so I didn't have to press very hard. In fact, if I pressed too hard, I would just have started taking out gouges, even though they are in the back here. So I just assembled them with some modeling glue. And most of them I did without their arms on because I like to be able to paint into those areas without trying to wedge my paintbrush in there. And that's personal preference. You can definitely go any direction that you like. If you prefer to assemble and then paint, go for it. Just whatever floats your boat. What I wanted to do here was just make it easier for me to paint in the long run. So I primed these all with Mechanicus Standard Gray, and then you can see here I'm getting going on the helmets and the front of the blasters with just some Meneth White highlight, and I started with that just so I could take it up or down in either direction. And then the boots and the rest of the blaster, I just used some Thamar Black from P3. Just a little bit of white mixed in, so it's not absolute black for that. I also got the visor up there. The pants, I went with some P3 Bastion Gray, and it's like that tone of gray. It's a nice neutral, and it takes well to shading and highlights. For their shirt here, I just used the Fog Gray from the Army Painter line. It's a line that I've recently started to use, and I have liked it a fair amount. Seems to be good coverage without being too thick, and so I've been using a little bit more of their paint lately. For their skin tones, I just used the Reaper tanned highlights and dark highlights just to get a variety of skin tones on throughout the troopers. And then on the vest here, I just used Necromancer Gray from Army Painter as well. It's a good dark gray. It's not starting with absolute black. It's not, it's a good darker color. And then on the leather on the belt, I just used some Rhinox hide, something I usually use for small bits of leather. All right, then I just went back. I did some touch-up of some parts that I missed on the helmet, like the visor and the chin strap. Okay, then I just used Nuln Oil, undiluted, just on the pants and the vest there, just to try and get some of those shadowy areas. For the shirt, it's such a light color that I just was very selective in shadowing that with some blue wash. I washed the helmet. I mixed some Nuln Oil 50-50 with water to make it not super dirty looking. Okay, then for highlighting, I just mostly did dry brushing. Here I just used Dungeon Gray. And then for the bases, my Rebel Army is out slogging through mud, so I just used Sterling Mud here to give the base a nice muddy look. Put a couple of tufts of Jungle Tuft from Army Painter on there, and then really put a sloppy coat of brown around the base of it, just so that it would continue that mud feel onto the base instead of having a nice crisp clean black. Now the captain I wanted to paint just slightly alternative to the troopers themselves so that he would stand out. So I went with the classic brown theme. You can see I started with claw tan, but it wasn't getting the coverage I wanted, so I switched to P3 rucksack tan. And then I did these areas here, the yoke on his vest and the stripe on the side of his pants with fur brown, because I liked the color there. And then for his shirt, I just used XV88, just a lighter tan from the Citadel line. Then I just washed over the whole thing with Seraphim Sepia to have those folds and those creases stand out. So, he painted up really quick, really easy. And I did the other shading on, the flesh wash and stuff the same as I did with the rest of the troopers. I highlighted just with some dry brushing on him with the Army Painter Troll Claw. It really brought out the highlights. And then, for his base, I based him the same as the rest of the unit with just some Sterling Mud, some Jungle Tufts from Army Painter, and then some Gale Force 9 Summer Flock. So this project went really nice, and I think they turned out very well. So if you would like a free download of a PDF listing all the different paints that I used on these models, just come on over to the website paintyourarmy.com/downloads, and you can get a free download of just everything that I used on this painting project. Thanks for joining us, and have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.